Today is August 28th, 2025. And last year, 1 year ago on this day, I made a huge decision to change my life entirely. So happy anniversary, baby. Happy birthday. I didn't know that I was actually a Virgo, but I do have a Virgo moon, so I guess it was in and of me. I really do feel like this was the day that I was born. And it was a painful day, as maybe birth is, where it's confusing and the lights are blinding, and you're like, oh God, what the hell is going on? Why didn't I stay in the womb? But you know that it's absolutely going to be the greatest adventure of your life. So on this day, I actually didn't know this was going to be the day that I was going to choose everything differently. I came to a breaking point after about a year and a half of losing my mind, at least maybe a year, yeah, about a year and a half of losing my mind. I was on such a good track. I had come home to Hawaii. I was really excited to start living for me. And then I met someone who lived in California, where I was moving from. And I immediately got pulled back into a pattern of mine, which was waiting on other people to live my dream life and getting so all of my validation and all of my love and self worth and all of those needs met in a relationship. And that was a pattern of mine for years where I would become codependent on someone that felt like safety or nourishment or love. And I would essentially just hope and pray that someday they would become the person that I needed them to become so I could live the life that I actually wanted to live. In my first relationship, we were long distance, and I had a calendar countdown on my phone every single day that would go from the amount of days it would be from when I saw him to when I'd see him again. And every day I would manually just change the number lower, 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 lower until it was zero and it was the day I would see him again. And all of those days, no matter how many days it was, 60, 45, whatever, I was literally not alive. I was just a zombie. I wasn't making plans. I wasn't letting myself be free. I was just basically zombieing around until I could get my life force back from someone else. That is so bad, compassionately bad. I like to say there's no bad and good. I can understand exactly where it came from because years of my life, and I won't even get into this now because I don't know, it just doesn't feel appropriate, but I had experienced a lot in my early life that made me feel that I needed to throw my needs completely out the window and hyper attune to others in order to have safety. And so I did. And it really was a smart adaptation because I was so safe and I was so loved and I was the golden child and I was so easy and everything my family wanted, I also wanted. And it was just great for everyone, mostly them. And yes, of course, there were some perks and benefits, and I had a wonderful childhood in many ways. Really, really, really beautiful, interesting, exciting childhood. In other ways, no stability, not really any time for me, no emotional attunement, and a lot of walking on eggshells. And so, what did I recreate in my life? Patterns like that. Not always. I had swung the pendulum from extreme safety, where there was no chemistry and no passion because I wanted, at least I was safe. There was stability, at least, to the complete opposite. And so I'm in this dynamic that takes me from the life I really wanted to live back into that, which was 100% my choice. I have nobody else to blame but myself. I chose to be in the dynamic. I chose it because it was comfortable and safe, literally, not just like in the therapist-y kind of way. And I came back to California and left my dream life behind and basically just contorted into a dynamic that did not serve me for a year and a half. And when I tell you it didn't serve me because there were very similar patterns to my childhood. There was inconsistency, which is my number one non negotiable. There was also just fundamental lack of compatibility. This is the life I wanted. This is the life he wanted. Very different. Instead of saying, this won't work, I said, okay, let me try. Let me try. Let me just, I don't need all this for now. Eventually, yeah, but for now, it's fine. So I try to squeeze myself into this world that really has no room for me and just doesn't feel good at all. And I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying because I'm also getting a lot of these other needs met that were more from my childhood that I didn't get met. Like just really deep passion and really deep like chemistry and this sort of attention that I feel like I needed so badly. And I was like, oh, like I felt like a drug addict. Like I fiended for this and I was getting it. And so I think we both gave that kind of energy to each other, actually, which is really interesting. And so it created this codependent loop where we were getting this thing from each other that was so satiating to the most desperate parts of us. And really, what those parts of us were crying out for was for us to give it to them ourselves. And really, how were those things going to be met? By living our authentic joy and truth. Those are how you satiate those desperate, hungry, literally thirsty ass parts of you that just need this sort of satiation. It's never going to be satisfied by a person, let me tell you. It's going to be satisfied by you living your authentic truth and joy and being brave enough to do that. Even if it's painful at first, I promise you it gets better and it's for you, and that's how you heal. But I didn't realize that this chosen wound, this desperate energy to be chosen is really what it was, is me choosing me. There was a sense I had of that even before I got into that relationship, which is why I decided to come home to Hawaii and start living the life that I really wanted to live. But unfortunately, I was just too wobbly on my feet. I was scared. I mean, compassionately, I was really scared. I just didn't know. And I was scared to have something that I always wanted and have that fail, right? That's the scariest thought I think most people have is, okay, now I have everything I've ever wanted and I'm scared. And I think a lot of us are already living a life like that, where we think, oh my God, but I have everything. I have everything. So why am I still not happy? I can't change now. I'm clearly insatiable. That's not true. You're living a life of shoulds. That's what's happening. And that's what happened in my last relationship. I have this great partner. I have a beautiful home. I have this. I have freedom. I have a healthy family that lives down the street. I have this and that. And I should be happy. I should be happy. I live in a place that most people would die to live in Southern California, right outside of Laguna Beach. Like, I should be so happy. But that's not true because that's not what I wanted. That was a life of what should make me happy by other people's standards, i.e., my family, my partner, even my friends, and just society at large, thinking like, oh, that should make you happy. You should be happy. You're in a great partnership and you have financial freedom and you have things. You have the things and you have even community in some ways. Not really. It was just like my family, really. But like, yeah, no. And also aligned community. So, yes, there were people, but were they aligned with me? No, because I was trying to contort into a life that wasn't mine. So, how could these people be aligned? I'm not even choosing me. It's like they've chosen them, maybe, and they're in a place that works for them, but it doesn't work for me because it's not me. Like, your people are where you want to be and are what are around the things that you love. Trust me, it's that simple. Like, just go do the things you love and go to the places you love. Those people also love those things. You guys have a similar wiring going on. There's similarities. Trust me. Trust me. It blew my mind once I chose myself. How easy that was. I went to the place, everything was there. Literally. So, and it might not be a place for you. Again, it might just be making some other kind of shift. But mine was a place. So, in that dynamic, I'm slowly withering away. Also, the inconsistency was making me crazy. I started to become someone I literally didn't even recognize. So paranoid, so jumpy, so snippy, so just could not rest. I'm reading a million books on anxiety. I'm in coaching. I started eating meat after 7 years of not eating meat. I'm in therapy, and now I'm in couples therapy because I feel like we just need to work on things and I'm losing my mind. But I also was trying to protect him all along because I was so scared to ask for my needs that I was, yes, telling him I was suffering, but I was trying to not make it about him and I was trying to take everything on myself. No, it's probably because of me and because of this and because of that and this and that and this and that. And that was also where I went wrong. I didn't communicate nearly as candidly and honestly, like, this is a no. And honestly, the truth is the problem, and I think the reason why I didn't, in some ways, besides the old habit of people pleasing and being scared to disappoint or hurt others, was that I think I knew deep down that these were things that just couldn't change. Not because this person was a bad person, but just because we were fundamentally incompatible. And I was scared to look at that hard truth. So I ignored a lot and I tried to skirt around things, even though we were trying to do some work on it. And I don't know, ultimately, nothing was working. And I remember after a few, maybe 2 months of that, the therapy with the couples therapy part, we were sitting looking at the sunset in a place that, like, I should be so grateful for, have this really beautiful moment. And it was summertime and we're looking on this over this hill and into the ocean. And I just remember I had this pit in my stomach and it was so painful. And it was just something I couldn't shake for most of the relationship, but it felt like it was getting louder and tenser and more like a giant knot. And I just finally told him, I have this giant knot in my stomach and I can't get rid of it. And I'm trying everything, everything, everything. Hours of morning meditation and sunlight. I always say this, like, I did 2 hour morning routine just to be okay in that dynamic. I had a functional medicine doctor. I was on a billion supplements. I was in coaching and therapy spending so much money just to be okay until I just couldn't. And I realized, what the motherfuck am I doing? I'm not okay, not because there's something wrong with me, but because there's something more right for me. That there's something that's actually aligned for me and I'm not in it right now. And our body is our thermostat, and my body is trying to tell me, you are cold. If this is a game of hot and cold, you are fucking freezing. And I was, in every way. I was freezing. I was freezing. And I remember him just trying to be like, it's okay, it's going to be okay. And this was something that he did a lot, which might seem loving, but it was just confusing because I was kind of saying, see me that I'm struggling. And he would say, like, maybe we could do long distance or you could move back to Hawaii. And at one point I did consider that, but I just like freaked out and I knew that that wasn't right either. So I went back to contortion. So I will give him the credit that he tried to be flexible, but the truth was there was nothing we could have done. And it was just never going to be right. And so I tried and I tried and I tried for a long time until literally voices in my head started waking me up out of my sleep. I asked for a sign one day and I got hit in the back of the head by a hawk. And I always say this, like, okay, it must mean something. And the message when I looked it up said, listen to the divine. And so I said, okay. I always do that, I think. And then as soon as that happened, it got louder and 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 louder until I would seriously have dreams. I had all these songs playing in my head that would wake me up, like Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, with throwback. Like, you know how it's like, I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. Like, blah 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 blah, break away, break away, break away, like out of the darkness and into the sun. I won't forget the ones that I love. Like, what? That would just come into my head and it would wake me up and I was like, stop. And then the next one was Slide Away by Miley Cyrus. Also two songs, like, super random. Like, I didn't even know Slide Away very well. Like, I remember adding it later because I was like, what? Why is this song coming into my head? It's not even one that I like had in my playlist. And anyway, whatever. So it comes in, and what's that one that says, um, I'll go back to this city, you go back to the something. whatever. It's just one of those lyrics that's like, we'll separate, like we're different. We're different. Slide away. And I was like, what the hell? And I really was in denial at that point. Like, I did not want to hear it. But it got so crazy. Like, sometimes I would just be standing in the kitchen and I'd get full body chills. Like, it was so ominous. Like, it was just coming over me. And I knew, like, source, my spirit team, everything was working so hard overtime, trying to wake me up and get me to come with them. And I was like, please, no. I was thrashing, I was crying, I was sobbing, I was in a fight with myself, I was in a fight with God. And there have been many times in my life where I've really been blasphemous, just like, fuck you. Like, I don't even believe in you. I know people are like, oh my God, don't say that to our Lord and Savior. Whatever you believe in, that's not my faith. But like, I literally believe in and respect everything. But don't fucking lie to me when you tell me that when you have been in a really hard place, you haven't literally been blasphemous. You haven't been like, get fucked. And if you haven't, then like, you're not a human. And like, I don't care if that's a test in your faith. Like, our faith is tested all the time and whatever is beyond us. Like, that's the whole point, is we came here in an agreement to forget our oneness and to be in a challenging simulation. And yeah, of course you've screamed get fucked to God. Obviously you have. And if you haven't, like, yeah, maybe you should sometimes, because it's also very real. And so I'm screaming, I'm thrashing, I'm like, I've never believed in God a day in my life. And I don't even want any connection to the spirit realm, because like I get really loud messages and I was like, la 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 la. I've never believed. I don't know why you're talking to me, because this is not your girl. I am not your girl. I've never believed in this. I've never listened. I've never cared. It's not real. All these signs, all these messages, all these things waking me up from my sleep, the hawk hitting me in the back of the head, everything, everyone. Nope. Not real. Never been real. Never believed. Obviously the complete opposite of who I am. So that's the other thing. I start abandoning my spirituality. I start abandoning my joy. I start abandoning, which is also synonymous. I start abandoning everything mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, literally, to be in that relationship. Let me tell you, your body starts breaking down. Your hair will start falling out. You'll gain weight. You'll lose weight. You'll go through so much because your body doesn't even know who it is. It's losing its sense of self. That was the message I got when I asked why that was happening to me. I was a disaster, having panic attacks, depression. A holistic medicine doctor, functional medicine doctor, tried to put me on antidepressants. And that was almost my tipping breaking point, but I pushed a little harder until I couldn't anymore. And I think the hawk happened and all the other things. And then finally, I called my friend at the time and I said, hey, I'm really struggling. And she was like, I know you, I feel like you've not been yourself. And I was like, no. And that was so hard to hear from people. And so, like, really vulnerable too, that people were seeing me like fail or lose myself or whatever it was. It just felt so freaking gnarly. And she's telling me like, yeah, I don't even like know who you are. And she's being really loving though. And she's listening to me. And then she basically goes, after I'm crying my eyes out, and she was so worried about me that she ended up saying, like, I'm genuinely worried. And I don't think anybody has ever told me in my life that they were worried about me. Like, my mom's always worried about me, but she's always worried. You know what I mean? No. Anybody else? No. Like, I'm the friend that people look to for stability, support, and wisdom. And uh, like, to have somebody tell me, and my closest friend at that point say, I'm so worried about you. It felt like I was slow motion, like falling off a cliff. Just, it was so painful. And I was worried about me too, honestly. I had never gotten to that place where I was just like, what is life? What is there to live for if this is life and this is all the things that should make me happy? Then what am I here for? Like, then I don't want this. Like, I just literally was counting down the days. Like, how much longer do I have here in life? And she was like, I can't like watch you like this. And as soon as she said that, everything just clicked. It's like I was slow motion falling and then I just like hit the ground and landed on my feet. And then really, I actually buckled to my knees and I started sobbing, and I was on the side of the road, snot dripping down my arms all the way to my fingertips, just freaking tears soaking my shirt, just literally hands and knees, like hysterical, feeling myself again and feeling, how could I have done this to me? How have I lost myself this much? How have I given myself away this much? How? How did I let this happen to me? Like, how did I let this happen to me? And I told her right then in the moment, I need to go inside right now and end this relationship. And that was so painful and sad and scary because, again, I had really sugar coated my experience for him. He knew I cried every single day. I cried myself to sleep. I cried myself every day. I was crying. I was having panic attacks. I was so unwell that I don't know how he like couldn't have seen it coming, but he seemed very surprised when I walked in there. I sat him down and I told him I can't do this anymore. Like, I am severely unwell and I have completely lost who I am. And it was extremely painful, and I'm kind of sparing the details of how that went down, but most painful thing to have to feel like I was blindsiding someone and hurting someone like that. So painful, so hard to speak up for myself when I'd done nothing like that for my whole life. And I really realized when I left and I actually finally got my stuff together, I knew where I needed to go. And I'd been in breakups where I didn't, and that was extremely disorienting and painful. But honestly, like, I figured it out. But this time I did know. And I was scared as hell because I still had the same concern. Like, what if I get there and I'm still not happy? I mean, I haven't been happy in a year and a half. I've been beyond unhappy. I've been depressed. I've been anxious. I've been literally disordered. And so, how do I imagine that I'm going to have anything different? But I just had to trust and put one foot in front of the other. And I was guided through vision and all these powerful, potent things. And now to get to the exciting stuff, I know this is a long one, but to get to the exciting stuff, I remember I was so skinny, I was so frail, I was so tired, I was so weak, but I felt peace. I felt peace for the first time, and I realized that my nervous system needed to be away from that person, that was the first thing to get me back to sanity again. Even though I was grieving, it was such a different feeling than being in this like literally, like I felt like I was constricted and tense and tight and stressed and scared and vigilant, and suddenly I'm just at least not that. There's a stillness, there's a pain, but there's a stillness. And then so I come back to Hawaii. Well, before that, I'd done a meditation, and it was probably, I took about a month before I actually came here to just get my shit back together. And I was at my parents' house and I did a meditation, and the meditation had said, open the door to where you are 3 years from now. And so I opened this door, and it's guiding you to just see whatever you're going to see. And I see myself getting in a bathtub in this beautiful house in Hawaii, and I'm sinking into it, and I'm so peaceful, and I'm pregnant, and I'm like, what the fuck? Who's gotten me pregnant? And I'm peaceful. I'm like 3 years from now. And I'm like peaceful, and I'm sinking in, and I see, and the sense I get is there's a bunch of people coming over for a dinner party, but I don't even care. I'm just gonna get into the bath, which is so unlike me. Normally, I'd be running around making the house cute and cooking and cleaning and making everything pretty and the music and the playlist and everything. And I'm just so chill. I'm like, no, it's fine. He's got it. I'm like, who's he? But in that moment, I'm like pregnant. I'm sinking into the bath. I'm like, he's got it. And I get a flash in my head of this guy with this dark, beautiful skin, and he's tall and he has dark hair, and like that's it. I don't really see much more. And I'm like, huh. And I'm like, okay, it's definitely not my ex. I'm like, okay. And I feel so much peace, just so much peace and love. And then I opened my eyes and I wrote it down. I was like, this is the most peace and love I have felt maybe in a lifetime. And I don't know what it is, but it feels Like, I am so whole, and this person is so whole, and my life is so peaceful and expansive and abundant and easy and lovely. Holy shit, I haven't had this before. And I kind of like let it go. I just wrote it down and was like, we'll see in time. I moved to Hawaii. All I'd ever wanted to do was bachata dance and surf. I start doing both. I meet my community doing both right out the gate, the best people. I meet my partner literally a month after I move, who I didn't know was going to be my partner yet, but he's that guy. And I remember it clicking later on when he was cooking and cleaning for our friends coming over, and we were hosting like our fifth event, and everyone's coming over to dance, and he's cooking food, and we're all just celebrating together, and there's so much ease. And I'm like, and my life is so beautiful. Like, so beautiful now. And I hold the part of me 1 year ago that was so blind. 1 year. It feels like a lifetime. I am a completely different person. I am magnetically in my joy. I am abundant. I am peaceful. I am joyful. I am happy. I'm excited. I love myself and my life. I am so committed to never self abandoning like that ever again. I've got me. I am my greatest cheerleader, protector, and hero. I am my best lover. Even though I have this partner who's amazing, I put me first. I am literally like, it's me and me, and then it's everything else. I have the best community. I'm healthy again. I don't even take fucking supplements anymore. Not that supplements are bad. If you need supplements, take your supplements. But like, I don't need anything. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm free. And this is now my mission, is to help people understand that all you have to do is be brave. Brave enough to hear the messages that you're already getting, guiding you to the life that is truly meant for you, that you don't have to suffer. Life is not meant to be contracted, it's suffering. You're supposed to feel like you. And if you don't, I'm so sorry, because it's the most painful place you could ever be. And I don't wish that place upon anyone in the entire universe, not my worst enemies, to feel that pain and that loneliness and that confusion and that self rejection. I wish for you the bravery to follow your joy and your truth and live your authentic life, because it's there for you. And when you start walking, you will be supported in ways you never could possibly imagine right now. Trust me. You take that step, you're supported. You take that next step, you're supported. You take that next step, you're supported. You're on like an escalator and you don't even know it. Suddenly, you're just thriving in a way that you never thought possible, but you did, because it's coming through in dreams, because it's your entire vision board, because it's coming through in every Instagram page you follow, because you're right here listening to me right now, because there's a resonance in living life in a way that's truly aligned, that's maybe off the beaten path, that's maybe not what people thought you should do. It's not what society paved out for you or your family, but you know that it's calling you. All you have to do is be brave and trust that even if you're wobbly, keep going. You are supported. And if you need more help with this, send me an email. Go to my website. I don't have client openings right now, but I'm working on an e-course. So you can also subscribe to my newsletter. That's a really great way to stay in touch. Or you can reach out to me directly and we'll work on what we can do. Because if this is really you and you're listening to this message, I want to help you. I am here for you. I have literally walked this path so intimately. I can hold your hand and I can show you and celebrate and cheerlead for you along every step, give you the tools that I took for me along every step, from listening to then being actually brave enough to hear it, trusting my body, learning my body's messages and memos and way of communicating, to moving on to communicating what I needed to other people, which was always a challenge for me, and just getting really clear on my desires and letting go of any shame around that, letting go of any guilt around that, and actually stepping into my life. And so I'm creating an e-course right now. It's almost ready. So definitely stay subscribed here and on my newsletter on my website, kmahagar.com, so you don't miss a beat. If this is you, I've got you. It is the most important journey you'll ever go on, and the most sacred, supported, lit and luscious, invigorating, actually easeful path that you'll ever take. Because the one that's for you has a perfect groove, and all you got to do is ride that wave, baby. Surrender. I'm here for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my story today on my rebirth day. I hope you have the most beautiful day.